Once businesses are looking at that, that's a really compelling event for them to say, hey, we're operating on a decentralized model with payroll employees all around the world. Part of our strategy is shared services. How do we move forward? It's back to a company strategy, because everything as a business, whenever you select to do a project or to have any spend, it's how does it relate back to strategy. So what we're seeing today is a couple of different things as we look in the market. One is what's a business's IT strategy. As I look through and talk with some of my clients, they very definitively have a business strategy of moving everything to the cloud. And as such, if that's an IT strategy, that filters down to the human, HR teams or the payroll teams that today are looking to say, okay, as we look out and evaluate what's available from a cloud perspective, how do we help with that? But then really, when we look at from a bottoms-up perspective of going, right, we want to, as a business, as HR, as payroll, we want to add strategic value back, and we want to move to a global payroll vendor. How do we get that value proposition upstream back to the business to say, here we do? And there's a number of different ways. So value assessment studies are really great to be able to prove out the return on investment. Really understanding how do we work, what do we spend, what are all of the legacy things that people just don't think about connected with payroll. How many integrations do you have to maintain every year to be able to provide that? So one is that value assessment is really important. Two is then connecting with your HR strategy. So, are we looking to move to a shared services strategy as a business? Are we looking to centralize employees into different locations, and can payroll be added to that? And that's a really great one for businesses to think about, is how do we centralize some of our shared services and make sure finance, accounting, payroll are part of that. And once businesses are looking at that, that's a really compelling event for them to say, hey, we're operating on a decentralized model with payroll employees all around the world. Part of our strategy is shared services. How do we move forward? Once the business has identified the strategy, really working with the compelling events of coming and saying, once we have this move, this is the value, this is the cost of the move, this is the time, is really then being able to build up the business case to take back to the board for sign off.